Yo, what's going on everybody? It's your boy Naruto Explain here, bringing you guys another Boruto 2 Blue Vortex discussion. Today, I want to talk to you guys about a rather interesting dynamic that I believe we need to have our eyes on moving forward, which is now that Boruto's been arrested. Oh my god, another Boruto arrested video. We have to ask ourselves, who is really winning this war between Shikamaru and Amado, and whether or not we have enough data right now to call this reign of Shikamaru's Hokage a failure or not, which is why in today's newest Naruto Explain video, I want to have a rather tough conversation with Shikamaru fans right now that might make some Shikamaru fans upset, but like always, we're not going to pull punches here with this one. We're going to have an honest conversation. So being blunt with you guys, I do think we need to say that Shikamaru, he's in very dangerous territory of being checkmated. And for the thumbnail of this video, I'm going to have the channel artist have him checkmated, because I personally feel that if the fat lady isn't singing for Shikamaru right now, she is in the dressing room, she's getting that quadruple XL dress put on, and she's loosening up those vocal cords to sing in front of a packed house. However, before we go into why I think Shikamaru has been checkmated, we at the very least have to give the guy some props for making the most out of the situation he's in, because I do truly believe we need to give him flowers, since anyone else in this exact same situation Shikamaru's in right now, they would have already led the village to ruin, and I do not say that lightly. Just to be completely clear and have my bias put all the way onto the table, Kakashi and Tsunade, they are two of my favorite characters. Tsunade is literally my favorite female Naruto character, and depending on what day of the week you ask me, Kakashi's going to be the Naruto character that I name more often than not, though the older I get, the more I relate to Obito and Hokage Naruto, but more often than not, it'll be Kakashi or Itachi or Madara, guys that you'll hear. So with my bias on the table here, here's why I firmly believe he's made the most out of the situation he's in right now as Hokage, and why we have to give him flowers before we start saying, hey Shikamaru, you know you done messed up, don't you? This is what we have to keep in mind. When Shikamaru took over as Hokage, make no mistake, even though we didn't see the state of the ninja world, it was in a state of upheaval and chaos. Think about it for a second. Let's put on those listening ears and those thinking caps, as the old teachers used to say. The Kage and the Five Nations, they were working together for what reason? Yes, it was for the benefit of preventing future wars and sharing technology so that the ninja world could advance together in a way that behooved the public. But it was also because so many of the current leaders, basically the Boruto Kage as well as their predecessors, they were won over by Naruto Uzumaki and his vision for the future. Even when Naruto wasn't Hokage and it was Tsunade transitioning to Kakashi, and then Kakashi setting up the modern revamped framework of the treaty that we currently see, a lot of the common ground the nations found and their willingness to accept a treaty that was so leaning heavy in the favor of Konoha was because of the legend that is Naruto Uzumaki, the guy who was waiting in the wings to be the Hokage. Legend has it that guy, he's quite the guy. Not only did he defeat the leader of the Akatsuki Pain, and he saved his village in the process, but he single-handedly served as a tide shifter in the Fourth Great Ninja War. The dark clouds of the Fourth Great Ninja War and the blood-soaked battlefields that everyone marched across, facing down enemies more powerful than they ever imagined and marching towards an unknown future. It was Naruto who arrived in the darkest of the night and shined a bright light that penetrated that darkness and shined the path forward to lead them with that bright golden cloak of his Kyuubi chakra mode. That sounds so poetic right there, don't it? It was Naruto who was able to fight Itachi, and it was Naruto who was the reason Itachi was able to break free of Edo Tensei and ultimately force Kabuto to release Edo Tensei. It was Naruto who uplifted the spirits of so many people during the Ninja War, sharing his chakra to give the Alliance members the power to not be killed, which by default saved tens of thousands of lives in a war that killed 40,000 people on just the first night. It was Naruto whose chakra healed so many people during the process of that bloody battle. It was Naruto who saved the ninja world multiple times to a point He saved the world more times than he had children with Hinata. It was Naruto, who in a scene Boruto's anime never adapted, but we did cover here on the channel, he spoke to all the feudal lords on the continent to broker a major trade deal that kept tensions from rising between some of the feudal lords. When you have a guy like that you lose overnight, it becomes a world-changing event. It will be like, say, if in the real world right now, which for the FBI, I am not wishing this on anybody. I am completely nonpartisan. Make Konoha great again merchandise coming soon. We Rasengan, we Ren merchandise coming soon. We pander to both parties. I don't hate one or the other. Legend has it I'm the ops. I've worked for both parties as social media manager. Say someone dropped a nuke on Washington, D.C. They killed the president. They killed the vice president. They killed all the members of the House. They killed all the members of the Senate. And like everyone just died. It would cause a ripple effect that would lead to chaos. This is even worse when you add in that the Kage, they specifically want Naruto. Hey, I don't think you need to let that Kawaki kid into Konoha. They were not big fans of that idea. They were closer to siding with Shikamaru's line of logic because Naruto pulled the whole I grew up a Jinchuriki card, listen to sadness and sorrow playing in the background, let's go to the academy, let's look at that swing I used to sit on. Guard, did you have a swing? Of course not, but I had a swing, fam. And everyone went, okay. No more talk no jutsu sermons, you win. Naruto, here's the bag, go do what you want to do with it. In their minds, they believe that Boruto, he's that boy. They want Naruto. Hey fam, you better not trust this guy. They believe that Boruto is the guy who killed Naruto and Hinata. They rightfully want blood. And as we saw in the chapter that just got released, chapter 13, they've been hunting Boruto worldwide right now for a while now. And they got closer to find him because Boruto was working alone due to Sasuke getting defeated by Code, which has made it easier to track him down since Boruto is less experienced with that rogue ninja lifestyle than Sasuke. We know, based on what the Elder told Shikamaru, the other Kage, they're growing impatient, which means that this last 3 years, Shikamaru's been facing unrest at home as well as diplomatically abroad. He's gotten it from all sides the last 3 years, unrivaled in a way that only an OnlyFans model can surpass. Someone like Tsunade, for as much as I love Tsunade, she is a student of the third Hokage, a man who started 2 ninja wars, and Tsunade does have a temper. When you add in that she believes that Naruto, a boy who she believed in to be Hokage, when she hears that Naruto was killed by Boruto, it's not crazy to believe that she would have sided with the elders and wanting Boruto executed. Hell, she might have pulled the trigger herself. Kakashi is the student of Naruto's father. Kakashi helped groom Naruto to be the Hokage that he was. While I do believe that Kakashi would be more rational than Tsunade, I do believe had he been in that position, particularly because he vowed to take responsibility if Sasuke ever turned against the 5 nations, which everyone believes is the case here. They believe Sasuke's a traitor. Kakashi would have been forced to give in to that pressure regardless as to whether or not he said, hey, I think maybe Sasuke had a good reason. It was Naruto who got killed, so you can't even make that argument. Shikamaru was the only person who could have ever hoped to navigate all these muddy waters, and I believe he has earned the praise for it. However, it's because of how much he's had to navigate that I believe he's either lost his war with Amado or he's in the process of doing so. This is why I feel so strongly about this. Putting it very simply, it goes back to a tactic in the art of war where it makes it a point to say that you need to spread your enemy as thin as possible, have them be forced to cover multiple sections in a battle, because doing so allows you to strike them with a hard blow that makes it impossible to defend, because a concentrated force, it is harder to penetrate than one that has been stretched to its limits. But it also warns you to never put your enemy in a position where they have an option where they can't escape, because you do not want to press a desperate enemy too far or too hard. When you know exactly where your enemy will flee because you give them a route to flee, you can dictate the flow of battle to make them run away when it is most convenient for you. Their actions, they're not their own. They are calculations that you've made, and you can rush in and crush them whenever it's most convenient for you. I believe Amado has taken advantage of this very tactic because Shikamaru was the one who made the mistake towards the end of Boruto Naruto Next Generations. In short, him being Amado's #1 hater, to the point that his hate for Amado made this guy say, wait a second, let me listen to Boruto's side of the story. Not because what Sarda said was right, that like maybe my mind's been altered, but I just hate this dude Amado so much, so if he's saying that this ain't true, maybe I need to look into this. And the hate that he has for him, it put him in this position. He made Amado the desperate one at the end of part 1, revealed that he had a shutdown code that could be used on Kawaki. Shikamaru, he was way too much in his emotions in order to think rationally at that point in time, and it was one of the few panels we ever saw Amado with extreme emotion in his face, and that emotion being desperation. And I'm just gonna call it for what it is. If you got kids that are younger, I know some of you guys watching videos, watch these with your kids and whatnot, I'm just gonna say this, cover their ears for the next 5 seconds. Shikamaru is acting like a bitch. Shikamaru told Amado, yeah, we're gonna kill this kid when we find him if he tries to fight back. I know you gotta revive your daughter, but tough luck, dude. This guy, he's dying, he's gotta go. If you want another kid, you better go find a younger woman and go make another one, fam. You can call her Akabe too if that makes you feel better. That sent Amado into a tailspin, because the one thing that we know is if he is desperate to revive his daughter to the point that he will play a dangerous game of chicken with Jigen and Ishiki, trying to kill both of them and take their vessel for himself, he's not gonna lose out on losing Kawaki. The correct answer in that moment for Shikamaru would have been to give Amado the room to have an out, as Sun Tzu says in the Art of War itself. Allow Amado to be brought in to use that shutdown code on Kawaki to restrain Kawaki, and then have him interrogated. After you decide to kill him or not, that's going to be up to you, but you'll be in a better position to control the options at that point. However, while we as the audience know that all them folks in universe, they were rushing towards Kawaki using omnipotence, that at the very least would have been on Amado's mind that he still had an option with Shikamaru. But Shikamaru, out of his hate for Amado and the emotions that he was feeling, operating under the assumption that his best friend forever, Naruto, is now dead, it caused him to make a critical mistake. Why do you think Amado, even after he learned the truth that Boruto and Kawaki had switched lives, that Amado's ninja tech was inside of Kawaki, that Amado's daughter, her data was inside of Kawaki, that Amado never said anything for 3 years? It's because he knows, had he said anything prior to that, when Sarda's out there raising hell to anyone that will listen, passing out photos of baby Boruto with Naruto, telling everyone that they are wrong, that Kawaki's a fraud, Amado knows there would have been a chance that he would have lost Kawaki. Shikamaru already played his hand, showing Amado that Kawaki was expendable to him, which is him basically saying to Amado, hey, your daughter, she don't matter to me, fam. That ain't my kid. To hell with your daughter. She's already dead. So it's about time you go make peace with that, or you go play with your little rinky-dink technology tools. You go judge some science fair contests. Maybe you carry out some experiments where you find out what happens when you take a size 11 microscope, you turn it sideways and you shove it up your rectum and you see what kind of bubbles and oozes come out of that thing right there. The fact that that little disregard for Amado's daughter, for his goals, from Shikamaru, someone who has his own family, it means that Amado, he has no incentive to trust Shikamaru, not even as a father, and no incentive to give him the room to not hang himself. Now, Boruto, now that he's been captured, which, oh my god, he's saying Boruto got captured again. This is like the 100 video. Yes, 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 yes. And I'm going to say it again. Boruto got captured again. And Amado has said everything that he did, knowing that Shikamaru has heard all this stuff. He's like, oh man, yeah, that makes a lot of sense right there. It's F Amado. All the homies say F Amado. And he knows that Kawaki has Amado's daughter's data. You gotta remember that Amado's loyalty, first and foremost, is gonna be to himself. And it's gonna be to his daughter. At the end of the day, the Hokage, it is merely a figurehead. It is a puppet that somebody sticks their hand up inside of, and it makes them say and do whatever they need to. Shikamaru, he isn't even officially Hokage right now. In theory, again, it's in theory, I don't think it's going to happen, but someone else could be positioned if Shikamaru acts in a way that is too lenient with Boruto, and Amado knows that he's got the leverage right now. Just as Sasuke's probation is at the discretion of the Hokage, so too is Amado's protection in Konoha. Do we really think that a guy who looked Jigen right in the face, knowing that Ishiki was looking out at him while Ishiki was buried deep inside a Jigen, pause, likely using his Byakugan when he's speaking to him, if a guy like that can lie for that long to people that dangerous, what makes you think he ain't gonna lie to Shikamaru and try to position it where someone else who's more lenient towards him becomes Hokage? What do you know? Maybe it's Katasuke who becomes Hokage. As much as I love our 8th Hokage, I do think right now he's staring down a checkmate and he's at the mercy of Amado. If Amado doesn't checkmate him, it's only because Amado is arrogantly dragging out the game to further play with him, which this is the shonen. That is a weakness for a lot of characters. That is a weakness for Amado. He's an arrogant SOB. And I think by the time he realizes he needs to move to end this game so fast, it's going to be over faster than you can click here on the left for my new Chainsman chapter review on Anime Explained, or you can click here for this newest Naruto Explained video.